What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1993 movie, Schindler's List. So this movie follows Oskar Schindler, a businessman who is running this factory, and he uses his factory to save a bunch of Jewish people during the Holocaust. I think he saved like over 1,100 lives and stuff during the Holocaust. Everything. At the beginning of the movie, he doesn't really show much concern or care for the people and everything, but as the movie progresses, he starts seeing how bad it gets, and he ends up helping them and stuff by the end of the movie. And a lot of it just like shows how he grows as a person and stuff throughout the whole movie. But this is a great movie. I absolutely love it. It's really one of Steven Spielberg's crowning achievements. Like most people, you ask what their favorite Spielberg movie is, and a lot of people would say this is his best. And I don't really deny that it's probably the best directed and made movie that he's done, but it's not my personal favorite movie, like as far as entertainment goes and stuff, because this movie is very hard to watch. I've only seen, this is actually my third time watching it tonight, and it's taken me 4 days to get through it, because this movie is really hard to watch. I had to restart it a couple times because of work and stuff. I just had either fallen asleep when I started it, or I ended up just deciding not to watch it after watching about 15 minutes of it. But tonight I watched it all the way through, and it's a very, very hard movie to watch, though. The violence in this movie is very, very graphic and realistic. I've never actually seen a lot of the stuff that's happened in this movie, but I'm guessing that the way it's portrayed is how it would look if it actually did happen and stuff. And it's really brutal. Like, I love horror movies, and slashers are my favorite type of horror movies and stuff, but watching this movie just really, really bothers me and stuff. I think part of it is knowing that people actually really did have to go through this stuff in real life. I think that plays a big part in it. It just makes it really hard to watch and everything, but it did a good job showcasing like how terrible the all this stuff was that the Jews had to go through, and it's just really, really sad to watch, and very hard to watch at times. The cast in here are amazing, especially Liam Neeson, who plays Oskar Schindler. I honestly think this is the best performance of his career. He was just absolutely amazing in this role. I think he was nominated for Best Actor, and he should have won that year, because he was just amazing in here. And Ralph Fiennes is Guth is really, really good. He's amazing in this role. Very, very unlikable person. He was one of the worst human beings to ever live, but Ralph Fiennes did a really great job playing him and everything. I absolutely hate that person. I think he was a terrible person and stuff, but Ralph Fiennes gave a really great performance, and he also deservingly got an Oscar nomination. And Ben Kingsley is Zach Stern, the kind of like the guy who helps Oscar get his factory going and stuff, who's actually a Jewish man. He's really good in this movie too. I honestly really think that Ben Kingsley is a really great actor, and his performance doesn't get talked about enough in this movie. I think he gives a really great performance. And like that scene when he's on the train and stuff, and Oscar is trying to find him and stuff, and saves him and stuff. That scene is just really intense and stuff, because it keeps you on the seat. Like, okay, is he gonna have to go to this camp and stuff? And Oscar pretty much saves him and stuff. It was a really, really good scene. And there's a lot of really intense scenes, like the scene when the women all go into the shower and they're expecting to have the acid or gas and stuff, and it turns out to just be a shower. That scene was terrifying. Every time I watch it, it makes me feel tense and stuff. It's freaky. It really gets to me every time I watch it, and like a lot of the stuff when the Nazis kill the Jewish people and stuff is just really, really brutal and hard to watch and everything. They were going for realism with this movie, and they really did a good job on that. I respect them for making it really realistic and stuff, like the way they did, but at the same time, I feel it was really brutal, and maybe they shouldn't have gone that far, but at the same time, I gotta commend them for it, because a lot of filmmakers wouldn't do that, so I get why they did it, though. They really want to make recognition of how bad this stuff was during the Holocaust. They did a good job representing that. But like I said, this is easily one of Spielberg's best works as a director, though. I love all of his movies pretty much. I mean, he has his low points, but he's always been one of my favorite directors, and I do agree this is like one of his best movies just as a director. And he had a hard time making this movie. When I was doing a little bit of research on this movie, I had found out that Robin Williams actually would call him every single night after filming scenes and stuff to try to cheer him up, because it was that hard for him making this movie. And he was like, if he had been, I had found out, like, if he had been born just a few years earlier, he might have had to deal with a lot of this stuff as a little kid or a baby and stuff, and it really hit close to home. I think he had relatives that didn't survive the Holocaust and stuff, so this was a really personal movie for him. And I always think, like, the movies that he does where he says they're really personal to him, a lot of times are some of his best ones, and a lot of people don't like them because of saying they're over sentimental. This one's not one that people say that on, though, and everything. And that scene at the end when all of the people that Schindler saved, the survivors that were left and everything, and the people playing the survivor, each survivor, they go and put a stone on the real life Oscar Schindler's grave. Stuff. That scene is just really emotional and really, really great scene. A really great way to end the movie and everything, and it's really, really good movie. And John Williams gives us one of his best scores. Like, it really shows like how good of a composer he is. He can do all kinds of fun action adventure stuff like Superman and Indiana Jones and Star Wars, and then he does something like this that just has that really somber sound, and it just really, really fits the mood of this movie. And he's just easily probably my favorite composer of all time. He just is really amazing, and this is easily one of his best scores. And John Kaminski's cinematography is breathtaking. Some of the best cinematography in a Spielberg movie. I debate between whether this one or his work on Saving Private Ryan is my favorite as far as the cinematography in Spielberg's movies that he's worked on. At least out of the ones I've seen. I know he's worked on done the cinematography for a lot of Spielberg's other movies I haven't seen yet, but this one is easily the best out of the ones I've seen so far as John Kaminski's cinematography goes and everything. I think this is a movie everybody should see at least once, but it is really hard to watch, and if you get triggered easily by stuff that, like the violence and stuff in this movie, I would recommend not watching it unless you go in mentally prepared, because it is very brutal and hard to watch, and it triggers my PTSD every time I watch it. That's another reason I don't like watching this movie very much, but it is worth at least seeing once, but it's definitely one I would say is not really rewatchable. I probably won't watch it again for a very long time. The only reason I watched it tonight is because of doing the review, because I had watched it a couple years ago and planned on not revisiting it again for about 10 years, because the first time I ever saw it was in 2009, and I rewatched it 2019, and I was planning on waiting until 2029 to rewatch it, but now I probably won't watch it till 2031 again. It's not one that I've really find myself wanting to rewatch. And you would think, since I love horror movies and stuff, that and everything, that this movie wouldn't bother me, but it really does. I think it's just because of how realistic it is. And slasher movies, this stuff isn't real and everything, but picturing that this stuff could have actually really been happening to real people, it just makes it harder to watch, I guess. But yeah, so I'm going to give Schindler's List a 10 out of 10. It is an amazing movie and a really great movie. It's definitely one I would recommend to everybody to watch at least once. But that being said, I don't think it's going to be as high on my Steven Spielberg ranking as some of the other movies that I wouldn't have gave 10 out of 10s and stuff, just because of the fact that it's not as rewatchable. So if it doesn't end up as high on my rankings when I do my other Spielberg ranking list, that's why. I was just going to warn y'all ahead of time, but yeah, so anyway, that's my review for Schindler's List. Let me know in the comments what you think of this movie, and hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.